The survivor. The sun arose over Rapa Nui. Another dawn, another new day, but the world would never be the same. Lemuria had vanished save for a few small volcanic islands and atolls scattered here and there like stepping stones across the newly vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean. Seabirds careened gracefully through the air, dove into the waves below and emerged with their prey. An air of normalcy prevailed, that as if you knew not the terrible truth. Small groups of the priesthood were already wandering around the island surveying the damage. Small chunks of Rapa Nui had been submerged. Here and there a road would lead straight into the ocean and disappear. A few of the giant stone figures had toppled over, but basically the island had survived and remained intact. Balthazar sat alone outside his hut. He had not moved all night. His eyes were fixed into an empty sphere, gazing hollowly out to the sea in the direction of Lemuria. He had no thoughts, no emotion, just a bleak sense of overwhelming despair. He had already given full rein to his feelings during the endless night that had just passed. He had felt that he had let his people down by not being with them. Why did he have to survive and not them? Had Ogmora known of this distraction in advance and sent him here in order to spare him? Knowing of Ogmora's extreme fondness for him, that was entirely possible. Balthazar had not been able to endure the memory of Diana's expression when that terrible thing had happened. She had definitely not been expecting it. That was certain. Why had her people of Atlantis not protected her? Why hadn't her finally honed psychic abilities warned her of the impending disaster? She had suffered incredible pain in the end. He had seen that too. Why had he not been there with her? Now he was stranded on Rapa Nui with no homeland to return to. He felt as if his life was over, as if he had failed his people and those whom he loved best. Balthazar experienced guilt for the first time. It was that special guilt which survivors feel when they ask themselves why they were chosen to be spared and the others were not. Feeling a tap on his shoulder, Balthazar glanced up to Solana, a young priest of Rapa Nui who had aided him in his work here. She could sit beside him. Solana was tall and lithe with long dark hair and a handsome, almost androgynous face. His earlobes had been pierced and extended with a large flag of white shell in the island style, which had caused the Lemurians to refer to the inhabitants of Rapa Nui as the long-eared ones. Solana had been birthed here, had spent his entire life in the priesthood, and had extremely clean energy. His large, unusual green eyes fixed Balthazar with a look of penetrating clarity and compassion. Balthazar suddenly realized how shattered he had become in contrast to the young priest, who radiated health and warmth. Solana handed him a beaker of amber liquid. "Drink it, my friend," he quietly urged. "Flower essences?" inquired Balthazar hoarsely. "Yes, they will help to heal the hole in your heart and give you strength." Balthazar drank the liquid dutifully, not caring if he was healed or strong. Standing up, Solana said, "Come, my people want to talk with you." While motioning to the temple hidden within a nearby hill, he held out his hand to the exhausted Balthazar. Together they walked to the temple, striding silently side by side. Balthazar could feel warm, healing energies emanating from the priest towards him. As they entered the portals of the temple, Balthazar whispered his gratitude to Solana. Passing through the entrance, they proceeded down a long tunnel deep into the center of the hill. Finally, the tunnel opened up into a large rectangular room. Several members of the priesthood were awaiting them, clad in simple sarong-type garments of various shades of green. Lighter skinned than most Lemurians, a few of them had reddish hair and beards, which was most unusual. It has been said that these ones were placed on this planet from a different energy source. Although tried to remember who he was and act accordingly, but inside of him was a new feeling of hollowness and despair. He attempted to remember the proper forms of greeting and conduct, however he could not bring his being into alignment. Something was missing inside. His entire life had changed, that was the problem. He reminded himself while trying to pay attention to what was going on. The priests were watching him intently, assessing the damage, trying to formulate a cure. Draughts of varying colored liquids were handed to him to drink, and others adorned them numbly. He was asked if he could use his crystals on himself. Balthazar was the only one present with the full knowledge. Shaking his head in denial, he was denying not only the crystals but then he even wanted to live. Not you hear that this was when denial entered his life. Finally, one of the priests spoke. As you well know, the motherland is no more. Someone has fatally damaged the mother egg. We are hereby sending you to Atlantis where you can obtain the full healing that you require. When Lemuria was ripped out from the magnetic grid, it tore a hole in your auric shield as well. Only the crystal therapy of restructurization can heal you completely. It will be a long, arduous journey, for we no longer have the means here to teleport you. All of that was destroyed with the submersion of the mainland mass. For teleportation, we required the use of the generator crystal as an energy booster, so you must travel by sea and overland through many strange and unknown lands, but nevertheless, Althazar, you must go. Althazar nodded in mute understanding, feeling that he must surely be dreaming. Solana has offered to go with you for your added protection. He will be carrying messages for help from us to the Brotherhood of the Seven in Atlantis. We can spare no one else to go with you. Our future is now uncertain. We have much work to do here. Tonight we ask you to remain in the temple with us. We will attempt all the healing for you that is within our power. You will be departing Rapa Nui in the morning by boat, sailing first to the south and then to the east. It will be difficult and lengthy due to the strong westward currents in this part of the ocean. The provisions are presently being readied for your journey. We shall tell you that no one has ever before attempted the voyage from Rapa Nui to Atlantis, but it must be done. You must do this for all of us and for the memory of your people. Balthazar tried to listen, tried to pay attention to the words which were coming towards him from so far away, echoing blankly throughout his internal emptiness. All the while Solana observed the High King carefully with his finely attuned intelligence, knowing fully that the weight of this man and the success of this mission rested upon his slender shoulders. Somehow he thought he would manage to carry it to completion. Thus Altazar and Solana did prepare to depart the last vestige of the great Lemurian Empire to journey far into the unknown. They knew not that they would never return to their ancient homeland. Can you stretch your awareness to see that I was there and I saw it all? The voyage. It was morning. A small group of people carefully descended the edge of a steep rocky cliff. Little remained of Orongo's tiny sheltered lagoon. Most of it had now disappeared into the ocean. The boat waited patiently in the water, tied to a tree which had been felled by the tremors a few nights ago. The vessel was built of totora reeds from one of Rapa Nui's marshy places, hidden deep inside the crater of a volcano. It had a mast and reed sail, and a small carved wooden cabin which was well stocked for their long journey. The priests that accompanied Altazar and Solana were chanting ancient songs of farewell in soft, low voices. Another group stood clustered at the top of the cliff, singing melodiously while tossing exotic flowers into the figures below. Balthasar and Solana bowed low to the priest. The head priest dipped two of his fingers into a bowl of a white pasty substance which he was holding. Then he traced delicate patterns which this onto the faces of the two travelers. This would serve to protect them during their voyage across the ocean. No, the man called the Master of the Sea, gestured to Solana and spoke to him in low argent tones. He handed him a weird web-like object made of reeds tied together into a maze of spirals. This was the map of the eastern ocean currents. They would be sailing a distance twice as far as that to the Moria. Due to the unusually strong westward currents, they would first have to head south for quite a distance. Fortunately, Solana had used those maps before, since most of the island dwellers had been taught this knowledge since childhood. Balthazar stepped upon the boat and was surprised to discover how springy it felt. Light and fragile, it was quite unlike the sturdy Lemurian boats constructed from hollowed-out solid logs of wood. Solana, his eyes alight with adventure, finally climbed onto the boat. It settled even lower into the water, but somehow managed to float. In the morning sunlight, Solana looked truly beautiful. Upon his face was painted a diagonal white line that had been filled in with delicate traceries. Young and radiant, his slender frame had such a grace and elegance to it that his very movements seemed like part of a secret ceremonial dance. Nodding warmly to Altazar, he said, "So begins our great adventure." Casting off the boat, Solana raised his hands high to the stone guardians of Rapa Nui and began to sing his own song of farewell in the clearest of voices. Shaking the elaborately carved wooden tiller, Balthazar smiled through his saddened eyes and even shared in a twinkle of excitement for the adventure which lay before them. He felt better today, as well he might, for all night long the priest had sung over him, fed him essences of flowers, rubbed him down with fragrant plants, all the while chanting and praying. What an enchanted place this Rapa Nui, he mused. No wonder that it was chosen to survive. Looking at Solana, he noted again his purity and clarity. The people from this island are more similar to the ancient Lemurians in many ways than we from the mainland are, he thought. They, whether male or female, are difficult to tell apart, since each of them seems to contain both sexes within them. They are remnants of the days long ago when we used to be androgynous. They have experienced the division into the sexes as we have, but they seem to be complete and self-contained in a way that we have lost. Completing his song, Solana picked up his reed mop. Creeping cautiously to the front of the boat, he put his hand into the water, carefully sensing the shape of the currents and checking it against the mob. Crouching inside a pointed prow, Solana began another song. It must be noted that these folk from Rapa Nui were rather fond of singing. In fact, they preferred song over talk. This one invoked the spirits of the vast ocean, asking them for safe passage through their waters. When Solana had finished, out of aloft from the pure joy of the brilliant blue sky, the endless sparkling ocean, and of course the joyous music itself. Then the High King surprised himself by offering a song. This was in honor of the water dragons who live within the depths of every body of water throughout the world. His deep, resonating voice brought forth a song of such sad sweetness that it caused the very dragons themselves to cry. The tears bubbled up to the surface throughout the vast ocean. Tears glistened in Solana's eyes as well as he quietly listened while straddling the prow, his bare legs dangling into the water. Next, Solana chanted a happy, frolicking song about their friends, the whales and the dolphins. And so the time passed tenderly and without crisis, while they journeyed throughout the endless blueness, seemingly going to the end of the universe itself. The days sped by rapidly as did the nights. Nights when they would sit silently outside in the darkness enveloped in a shining cocoon of stars, always sailing onward and onward. As the weeks slipped by, they became close friends, having shared much by now. The vast silence, the never-ending blue expanse of sea and sky, the canopy of stars at night. Opening up their souls to each other, they began sharing not only their experiences, their knowledge, their legends, but finally many of their most private thoughts. Weeks multiplied into months, the months added up, and still they sailed. One day passed by much like the other, with certain timeless sameness. To others it was as if his past was dead, having faded away into his eternal place of emptiness, disappearing slowly, steadily, imperceptibly. His life in Lemuria faded like a long-lost dream, even more misty, even more forgotten. He no longer felt like a high king of noble lineage, just a simple man on a small boat adrift on the vast ocean. The only reality that he knew for certain was being on this fragile bundle of reeds, sailing across the infinity of endless blue waves. There was incredible peace here for him. There was a soothing nothingness to it, and there was his remarkable new friend with whom to share the wonder of it all. A vast expanse of time did indeed pass by. Then at last they did come when they spied their first seabird. In the days that followed, they saw many others, and realized with a mixture of sadness and excitement that soon they would be approaching a land. After a few more days, they saw a large land mass stretching across the horizon, covered with massive mountain ranges, whose tallest peaks were